This is In the Loop. I'm Christian Bryant. Good reporting is like getting dressed. In a way, you're getting prepped for whatever elements you have to brave in the world around you. And folks, we're here to get you layered up. But first, unless you've got like an emotional attachment to an old iPod, the kind with the scrolling wheel, or even a Sony Walkman, how you listen to music today probably isn't how you listened to music a decade ago. Streaming platforms like Spotify, Tidal, or Apple Music have made it easier than ever to listen to and discover music. But they've also disrupted how people in the music industry make money. Our latest installment of Pop Quiz dives deep into this new musical landscape. Joining us is Newsy entertainment correspondent and Carly Rae Jepsen's #1 fan on Spotify, Casey Mendoza. Casey, what's up?
First, to clarify, I am actually in the top 0.5% of Carly Rae Jepsen fans, according to Spotify. And in 2020, I listened to her music for approximately 1,042 minutes.
You know, I bet you could be #1 if you just gave Carly Rae Jepsen a sword. I hear that's all it takes.
I've never met her, but you know, if I did, I absolutely would. But you know, despite knowing how much I listen to Carly Rae Jepsen, I don't know exactly how much money she's making from my admiration. That leads to today's pop quiz question: who gets paid when you stream a song online? The answers to this question took us through the seedy age of music piracy to today's headlines about artists like Bruce Springsteen and Stevie Nicks selling their music catalogs for millions of dollars. Are you ready?
This is exactly what I like to discuss. Let's dive right into it.
Perfect. So to start off, let's break down what happens when you actually hit play. Whenever you stream a song online, royalties are paid out to several different parties: music publishers, songwriters, performers, and record labels, which do negotiate their rates. Apple Music says it pays around a penny per stream, but Spotify pays by stream share. In other words, say a song is streamed 1,000 times in 1 month on Spotify. The payout is determined by the entire pool of streams. So 1,000 streams for an individual song in a pool of 100,000 streams will pay out more than 1,000 streams in a pool of 1 million. Spotify says it paid out $7 billion in royalties in 2021, with more than 1,000 artists making over $1 million each, and more than 52,000 artists making more than $10,000 each. Financial experts say this market is growing.
There's going to be more and more revenue attached to streaming, and the number of streaming users is supposed to triple in the next 5 to 10 years.
Casey, that sounds like a lot of money for the music industry as a whole, but how much money are artists making, especially in comparison to the olden days of album sales? I feel like this is when you drop something on me that I'm like, oh, that's how this works.
That is where the frustrations begin.
Previously, if you bought a record or a CD or you downloaded a song, that was a one-time purchase, and the artist got paid a big lumps or a relatively larger lump sum payment all at once. What happens with streaming, though, is it's paid out over every time you play the music. So there isn't this, generally, especially for smaller artists, there isn't a big initial lump sum payment. It's more of an annuity where they get paid over time.
Moody has said that artists could see larger payouts over the long run than they would with traditional album sales. But that can still be frustrating for newer, smaller musicians because they won't see that money right away. Now, part of the reason we got here is because for a while, a significant amount of people weren't paying for music at all. So, to give us a little throwback, does this logo look familiar to you at all?
I look at this logo and I am transported to my parents' home where I have flipped open my laptop, I have connected to the internet, and I am downloading all manner of stuff, just piracy like crazy. Yeah, I remember this.
I remember destroying my family's computer that way, because that wasn't the most legitimate way to find music.
The reason a lot of these companies were started, Spotify, Pandora, they were started because they wanted to help out artists, right? They wanted to find another way for artists to get their music out there, or to combat piracy that was happening at the time. So it shouldn't always be maybe this us versus them.
When it first started becoming a thing, it's like, so I can just listen to, like, I pay a monthly fee and I can just listen to whatever, like, as many times as I want. It's opened up the world of just like, you can just like put on a playlist and discover, 10 or 12 new artists.
Streaming did solve an issue, and it did make music easier to find for people like us. But the disruption of companies like Spotify has led to other problems.
Musicians on Spotify don't get any like money from their streams until they're reaching like thousands and thousands of streams. It's really frustrating to be working so hard to build up the amount of streams you're having and to not see any compensation for that.
Is this the same gripe artists like Taylor Swift have had with Spotify?
Yes, and she's boycotted the platform in the past for unfairly paying artists. And other bands like Belly, Letters to Cleo, and Eve 6 have voiced their own concerns about pay. Spotify reportedly pays some of the lowest rates to musicians out of all of the streaming platforms, likely because of its share stream system. And so many musicians have been vocal about the fact that they can't survive on streaming alone.
Making money off of people listening to music, it's almost impossible currently.
Couple that with the fact that it takes a lot more work now for musicians to stand out from the noise of the internet in order to be discovered.
I've had to do a lot of the promotional and like kind of marketing work myself, and I've been sort of like in charge of getting an audience there.
I think these days it's almost essential for an artist to have a good social media campaign and team behind them.
I think that's unfortunately just the way it is when you're getting started.
There is a Jay-Z lyric from the 2005 song Diamonds from Sierra Leone that goes, and you've probably heard this before, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
That line is super relevant for musicians today, as they have to think more critically about their marketing strategies, digital presence, financial plans, and even the value of their overall works or catalogs.
They have options, and probably a lot more options than they had in the past. Over $5 billion in catalog value changed hands last year. It's probably going to be more this year.
For all of the frustrations streaming has caused for musicians, it's also significantly increased the commercial value of music overall, especially for private equity investors who now see music as a recurring revenue source that can be counted on for years. Because of that, more artists are considering selling their music catalogs as a way to finance their careers and avoid waiting for streaming royalties overall. Experts say it's a musician's market, but like everything else impacted by streaming, the payout is gonna take a bit more work.
Yeah, this is another one of those reminders that, as easy as it is to get our hands on music through streaming, it's also important to make sure we're supporting, the artists we love and so many other ways. Pick up that vinyl, go see them on tour, buy some merch, all of that jazz. This is another good reminder, and I'm glad we have you to come on and kind of take us down this rabbit hole. Casey Mendoza, our one and only entertainment correspondent, thank you so much for joining us.